This is Russ. Yeah, I'm back out on the road again. So what am I riding? This is the Meebike. Yeah. Meebike Gallop step-thru. I decided I needed to take this bike out and do a range test. But I'll tell you, it's going to be a little bit different this time. Typically, I take the range test by going through the 3-mile path, go around in circles. But somehow I get the feeling that if I took this bike out on the 3-mile path, I'd probably get a lot of people making comments on it. Yeah, the bike kind of looks like a little motorcycle. You know, it's like a little moped. And so I think we'd get a little bit of strange looks. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it and then see if anyone says anything. You know, if I keep the speed to a certain speed, then, you know, well, can't say a whole lot, I guess, right? I mean, the legal speed on that path is about 15 miles per hour. I find it's hard to do 15 miles an hour on an e-bike. It's actually a lot easier to kind of go a little bit faster. Now you hear that the brakes are squealing. They are. It's the front brake that's doing that. I've tried to bed it in and it still squeaks. So I have not finished and fixed that. So I think we'll be braking mostly with the rear brake today, just to avoid the squeals. So now you might remember too that the Meebike is kind of like a moped-styled bike. You cannot adjust the seat. And because of that, I cannot do a full rotation easily. My right leg can. My left leg absolutely cannot do it very easily because of the knee replacement. I don't have enough flexion to be able to bend that much. So as I sit on this bike, if you keep the pedals, let's say, level to the ground, you know, left pedal and right pedal level to the ground, not one up, one down, just level. To give you an idea, one knee is bent at, let's see here, at least 90 degrees. The other knee is bent, I'd probably say more than 120 degrees. And the reason I know that is because my flexion on my left knee is only 120. And so since I have a hard time flexing that past the 120, we know that it's got to be at least 120 degrees of bend, right? So that means I really can't pedal this bike. So to do a range test on here, the only thing I could really do is to throttle it the entire time. Now, I know that's not a true measure of its ability, because typically if you throttle, you get less range. But I don't know what else I can do, quite frankly. I mentioned before that the Meebike Gallop step-thru, I kind of felt it's kind of suited for a shorter rider. Yeah, I'm 5'10". I can't really pedal this bike. Now I know some others would be able to do it, but I mean you're not going to get any type of extension. I mean, full extension would mean on this bike would mean what would it be? You'd be bent at least almost 90 degrees, if not more. So yeah, you're not going to get any kind of extension. So not pedalable for me. So we're also going to do a little test too. As you know, I usually take these bikes on this one hill to see how well it does. And I've done it to all the bikes. And so this will not be any different. We're going to have to do it to this bike as well. And we got to find out what its maximum speed is too somehow. I've tried that before, but every time I've tried it, I've had cars or other things that are in the way that I can't continue to do it. We'll see if we're lucky today somehow. So throttle only for me on this bike. Now that doesn't mean that this bike is not good for you if you are a shorter rider. You'd have no problems with this bike. doing that. You could pedal all day long, but I can't, unfortunately. Now, interestingly, the headlight automatically turns on if it sees that you're in a darkened situation. Now, we just went through that tunnel. I don't know if you noticed it, but the headlight kicked in. And then once we got out of that, headlight turned off. Now, you can manually turn on the headlight and just leave it on the whole time. I don't have it on that way, but it did kick in automatically by itself. So it's got a light sensing diode or something that sees that you don't have enough light, kicks in the light for you. Kind of nice. Another thing that this device does for you, it has Bluetooth capability. Now, you do need to download an app on your phone to do that. And I noticed the other day, I was riding it, and my friend Stacy called me. And Stacy is a guy, by the way. And on the display screen, it showed Stacy was calling. Yeah. That's because it's Bluetooth to your phone. So notifications of that showed up on my display screen. Kind of cool. Morning. So now you might notice on the screen, I don't know if you can tell or see it on the camera, but we've done 15.6 miles on this bike since getting it. This ride is about 1.7 miles. All of this information would show up on your phone, on the app, if you looked at it. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I don't know whether you can see it in this instance or not. Hold on a second here. Thank you. Yeah, that's the narrowest bridge we have here. Only one bike can get through, and the nice gentleman stopped and waited for me to come by first. Let's pull up an app. So the app I've already connected to. Over here, you'll see it's duplicated all of the information that's on this screen. You could actually lock and unlock your bike using the app if you wanted to. It's trying to pick up local Wi-Fi in this area. So yeah, it shows that it's connected. It says I've got 1.9 miles on my trip. My speed is being shown here is about 11.5 miles per hour. So, it's going to vary. Over here, it's going to vary a little bit according to whatever the thing over here says. Now, I always wondered too, why do I need all this information when it's already on my screen? Why do I need to see it again? But I think maybe the app does certain other things. I did not get a chance to register the app. It is in Chinese. I'm part of it. Part of it is in English. I tried to connect up. They're supposed to send you an email to confirm your email address, but it never came in. And then by the time I came in, it had timed out, so I couldn't do the registration. So I don't know what you get if you register the app. I'm gonna guess maybe it tracks your progress. I have no idea. I don't know what benefit you get if you do that. So. All right. So anyways, I'm going to pull out of this app altogether, so I'm totally out of it. But even though I'm out of it, I'm still connected because I take a look at the actual screen, and it still shows the Bluetooth indicator there. So because of the fact that I had logged in, and even though I've shut down the app, it still sees me. Now the Meebike has 48 volts, 20 amp hour battery. So this should give us some range, I would imagine. But again, like I said, being that I'm gonna throttle it the entire time. I can't hear myself talk. The wind is blowing against my ears, so I don't know if I'm saying words properly or if I'm mumbling. I can't tell. I think we're gonna eat into some of that range because of the throttling. We shall see. Now, according to the specifications, this 750 watt motor has a torque of 85 Newton meters. Thank you. We'll see if that's truly the case. We'll know when we go up the hill. Now, I did add a couple of things to the handlebars. As you can see, I put a cell phone holder here. I put a accessory thumb throttle on the half twist throttle. I always do that because it just makes it easier for me to throttle. It's what I'm used to. Thank you. Well, here's our buddy again. Let's stop and say hi. All right, so now we're gonna get ready to go up the hill now. Once we pass the stop sign, the hill comes up. So we got to get a running start like we always do, and then we'll see how we do. So it's right after this bridge. Hopefully there won't be anyone there, because if there is, then I have to slow down, obviously. But all right, so I'm gonna throttle up 100% now. We'll see how we do for speed. We're doing 21 miles an hour right now, but we haven't hit the heart of the hill yet here. So let's see. So we'll start dropping as usual. 18.5, 17.2, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 9.5. All right, it slowed down to 9.5. So how is that in comparison to the others? Well, I think that's on par with what the Rad Rover did. Now you got to remember too, the Rad Rover is loaded down with a lot of stuff. That bike probably at this point has at least 110 pounds worth of things on it, with all the batteries I have on the thing and everything. So what about the other bikes? Other bikes have gone over that hill with I think like 14 miles per hour at the top. So that would be other cruiser bikes that we have. Thank you. So does this have actually 85 Newton meters? That's their claim. And performance-wise, I don't know if it really truly is. Yeah, I don't believe it is. I think if it had the true 85 Newton meters, it would have went over that thing a lot easier. There's another hill up ahead. We'll try that one too. If we see that we're slowing down on it, then it's kind of proof that maybe it isn't what it says it is. All right. That's too bad. You know, a bike like this is really more geared for the speed that people expect. But that's not what we seem to be getting. Now, keep in mind too that the maximum weight limit on this bike is I think 275, 255 pounds. But you have to remember too that I'm 255 pounds on all those other bikes as well. So its performance seems to be basically on par with what the Rad Power Bike is able to do. It's not like it can't go over the hill. It's just that I don't think it has the amount of torque that is claimed based on that performance there. All right, let's make this turn. Well, the thing with the Meebike is I think it's more style, right? It's more the looks of it. I think someone who buys a bike like this is really interested in what it looks like. Obviously, it does have it has it there. It has good looks. Performance-wise, still a little bit lacking, it seems. I would have liked to have some type of adjustable seat on it. I made that known to Meebike as well, and they said they appreciated my comments on it. Alright, let's see here. I think based on the fact that on this side, let me show you guys here. That side's got some construction. We're gonna cross here and then we'll cross again. I think that's really our best bet. Just to be safe. It'll take us a little longer to cross through, but hey. A key thing too here is I gotta make sure left turners are all done so they don't left turn right into me. And of course right turners over here, that they don't try to make a right turn while I'm crossing. Gotta be safe. Alright, we've made it through. Let's hit the crosswalk button. Now we wait again. The one thing that's interesting though, because I am able to straddle this bike, put my foot down while staying seated. Yeah, it's more comfortable, that's for sure, that way. The padding on the seat is pretty comfy. I think the width of the seat is a little wide though. You know, I think if it was slightly narrower, it might be a little bit nicer. Yeah, it's just little odds and ends, right? Alright. Back into the forest preserves we go. And I don't know, I think maybe on the bike path, if there's nobody around, I'll see if I can do a speed test out there. If there's people around, obviously I can't do that. Doing it around here would not be good either, because we got up and down hills, so it wouldn't be a fair test. I remember too that I said that you can unlock this bike to go faster if you want. These guys are doing some construction stuff here. Rebuilding some things. Okay. I did some other things that are a little bit differently than I usually do. You know, many of my bikes have a front basket. This does not have a front basket. And I had put my audio recorder on my belt for a while, but you know, it kept getting in my way. The microphone cable isn't long enough sometimes and kind of gets pulled. And so what I did is I strapped it on the audio recorder to the rear rack. I have a little case that I put it in, and I just strapped it on there, hoping that it'll be sufficient. So we're going up an incline right now. We're doing 18.5 miles an hour. This is the longer way around it. There's a shortcut sometimes I take with bikes, but we want to test this this hill climbing. This first hill, not too bad, 18.5 miles per hour. But I know there's a larger hill coming up. We'll see how it does on that one. So the tires on this bike is 20 inches by 4 inches, so it's a fat tire bike. And like I said, I'm doing all of my braking on the left hand, the right hand, which would be the rear brake. You know, the front brake, you can hear it squeals quite a bit. It's just not fun to hear it. So yeah, I think rear brake's going to do most of our stops today. I keep alternating my leg, which one faces forward more than the other, just to give it a break, because like I said, it is constantly bent, it's not straight. I did put a water bottle cage here too. I don't know if you noticed. We're going up the hill at this point. Let's see how we're doing. Alright, it's starting to slow down. 13, 12, 12.3, 12.3. So 12.3 to get up this hill, but it is capable of going up the hill. It didn't like stop or anything like that. So yeah, the performance is, it does have torque, it just doesn't seem to have the same amount of torque as the others that claim 85 Newton meters. Alright, we're going to go up one more hill here. And we'll do it from a dead stop, since there's a stop sign. We'll see how it does, okay? Alright, that's as good of a stop as I get. It is still kind of a rolling stop, but that was a pretty decent stop for me, alright? Alright, so we're going up a little bit. Now this hill is not as big as that other one. I thought this one would be bigger. No. So I'm bringing it up now, 22, 23. Alright, too much of a curve, so I can't do it, and we're going to go up an incline again. We'll have to find a straight and easy path to try for top speed. The bike does lock out at 20 miles per hour when it's shipped to you. If you want to unlock it, you do need to contact the company, and then they will send you the unlock code. Good morning. All right, so I think I didn't tighten down this mirror enough, because it seems to keep bouncing and readjusting itself. One thing I could do a little bit later, I don't have my tools with me, so I cannot make that adjustment. All right. All right, let's go up this hill. I've got a running start. We're at 25 miles an hour right now. 24.3. I'll let up. Let's take a left over here. Throttle on this bike is on the right hand side, as many of the bikes are. Alright, let's crank it up a bit. I don't see anybody on here. Going down an incline, doing 24, 25. Going up a slight incline. Thank you. Dog wants to get me. Dogs always want to get me. Alright. Let's see how we do here. This area we do have up and down. Can't really judge its top speed this way. I have taken it up to 25. I haven't gotten it further past that yet. Of course, to do a range test as well as a speed test, that kind of eats into your range, so that's probably not a fair way to do it. I mean, if you're gonna do a range test, you should just do the range test and don't worry about the speed. Maybe we should just do that. Probably ate up some of the battery doing what we had been doing already. Right now we're showing 90% battery power still. We've traveled let's see, was it 6.4 miles? 6.4 miles with our average speed at 14.8 miles per hour. Yeah, I would say if you were slightly shorter than me, this might be a fun bike to ride. I will tell you that most people stare at this bike because it doesn't look quite like a bike, right? That's why it makes me a little nervous sometimes to be out here with this bike, because you kind of wait for somebody to say, hey, you shouldn't have that bike on this, you shouldn't have that vehicle on this bike path. But technically it is an e-bike, so it is allowed at class 2, but of course, as you know, I unlocked it to be faster than class 2, but they don't know that. Now, if you want to stay within the legal limits of the law and you want to remain at class 2, yeah, don't contact them. They won't give you the code. You can't get it anywhere past 20 miles per hour. So, but I think a lot of people who buy a bike that looks like this, yeah, they probably want it past 20 miles per hour. There is an ability to lock the bike as well. You can lock it with your app so that the bike cannot function unless you do an unlock. I never do the lock, quite frankly, because chances are I'll forget what the lock code is. And if you forget what the lock code is, you're in trouble at that point. Yeah, there is no way to, I think, unlock it without getting another display screen. At least that's what I've heard from other people who have actually locked up bikes from other brands of bikes. So I would imagine this would be very similar. You have to remember that unlock code if you want to unlock your bike. So I don't do it, and that's why I have, like, the keys are still hanging here, if you notice. Why do I have keys hanging? Isn't that not safe? Well, I never leave my bike anywhere. Yeah, I don't lock up my bike and leave it anywhere. I'm with the bikes at all times. And when it's not, when it's left by itself, it's in my house. So as not to lose the keys, I just hang it off the wiring on my bikes. I think the only one that I've ever really locked it up was my Rad Rover 5, my original bike. That one I have locked up places, but all other bikes, no, I don't lock them and leave them. So yeah, okay, so anyways, I'm just going to go around in circles. I'm going to try to maintain anywhere between 15 to 18 miles per hour going forward now. I'll give you milestones as we get through them, and then of course what our final mileage ends up being. Typically what I will do is I will drain the battery down as far as I feel comfortable before I start heading back. I don't want to be stuck out here when the battery finally exhausts. So probably maybe as we get closer to maybe 20%, 15-20% of the battery, I'm going to start heading back and then just ride around streets. This way, if the battery does die out on me finally, I could always call for some help. I don't think I could. I can't ride this bike. Of course, I can't even pedal it. So yeah, even pushing it would be tiring because it's a heavy bike. All right, I'll be back in a bit. All right, I'm back. So how have we done so far? Well, I'm down to 34% on the battery. Shows that I did 27 miles so far in the ride. I averaged 15.9 miles per hour. So I tried my best to stay within 15. Close. more almost like 16 on average. So I've taken it to the streets now. I figure if the battery were to die out on me, I'd rather it die out on the streets, because then I can get picked up by somebody in a car. If I die out in the middle of the forest preserve, I gotta walk that thing to get to the front of the forest preserve. So yeah, we're not gonna do that. So let me give you some comments on the ride overall so far. The brakes continue to squeal on the front brakes. I've been using rear brakes at most, and that's it. I haven't really been using the front brake much. And the fastest I've ever been able to get this bike was around 25 miles per hour, but that's only probably on a downhill. On a straightaway, I was only able to get 23.1 or 2, something like that. So let's say 23 miles, which is a little disappointing for a bike that's been unlocked. I mean, when it's locked, it goes to 20, so it only gained like 3 miles per hour, not a whole lot. I will say that the battery is doing fairly well, though. We're already at 27.5 miles at 30%. You know, if I had to guess, I would say we're gonna probably hit around 35. That's my guess. We'll see. I'll bring it down as far as I can to still feel comfortable to be able to make it home. I will tell you this, you know, I've been doing this thumb throttle this entire time. I really haven't been pedaling the bike because I really can't do a full rotation on it. My thumb is getting really tired out from pushing down on the edge of the thumb throttle. I've really never had to hold it that long before. So, but this entire ride has been thumb throttled. So yeah, end up with a blister or something like that on my thumb. But I think it would be even tougher to hold it as a twist throttle at a specific speed the entire time. I think that would be even tougher. So anyways, it's just a matter of what you're used to. I'm used to having at least some type of thumb throttle to make it easier for me. Now while the brakes do squeal, they are hydraulic brakes. So this is one of the reasons why I'm still able to stop this bike pretty well just with the rear brake. I'll tell you that some of the other bikes that I've had that are mechanical disc brakes, I don't think I would rely only on my rear brake to stop me. But hydraulic brakes do pretty well. These are made by a company called Logan, but short of the squeal, and I think the squeal can probably be repaired by just either adjusting the brake pads, sanding them down, doing something like that, or maybe even replacing the brake pads with a different type of material from the brake pads. They don't look too difficult to replace, but I just haven't had the time to do it. To me, it's a minor thing that could be repaired. It's just a matter of doing it, that's all. So I'm not too worried about the squeal on the brake. Alright, so we've dropped now down to 27%. Typically when we start getting towards the end of these batteries, performance will usually start suffering. We'll see how this one does. Some bikes, you know, you can go all the way down to 15% and you're still going pretty strong. So we'll see. I will say this about the display screen. The display screen is color. It's a nice looking screen. It really has good information. Let's turn here. It has good information on there. Everything is out in front of you. You don't have to hit a bunch of buttons to find things out. So it shows me my odometer is at 42.4 miles right now. It says my trip meter is 28.5 miles. I have a PAS level 2, which doesn't mean anything because I'm not pedaling anyways. And my average speed is 15.9 miles. Okay. When you get into the specifics of the menu, let me see if I can do that over here. There's a little bit of shade. Might make it easier to see. Let's see here. I'll stand up a bit. Maybe this will allow you to see what's going on. Let's see if we can get into the menu here. Oops, shut it down altogether here. Let's start again. Start it back up. And so this one, in order to get to the menu, all you have to do is hit the power button a second time. So you can change the units, how long you want the bike to be before it shuts itself down automatically. I have it set for 10 minutes. You can reset the trip meter, which we're not going to do. I have a brightness of 50%. Let's increase the brightness a little bit here. Let's go to 100%. Let's see what that looks like. And then your maximum PAS level, I have it for 5. Sensitivity of light is high, so this is, when it automatically senses that it's too dark, it'll kick in the headlight for you. Then back. So other things you can do. There's password protection stuff and Bluetooth. Bluetooth is pretty easy. Let me push Bluetooth here. You'll see that it'll show you what do they call these things? QRC code, is that what it's called? And then you just go into your app. The app here is Bike Go is the name of the app. You have to download this app. Then you hold when this is opened, when the Bike Go app is open, you hold it in front of it. The camera will see it, and it'll connect itself. So it's fairly easy to connect. I have not had any problems at all connecting. And once you shut it down, then even with your phone off, the Bluetooth is still on. Now, while I was riding, my wife sent me a text, and it showed up. Showed up right on the screen, right over here. So, yeah, it does give you good notifications in that sense. If your phone rings, it'll show you who's calling, if you have that person's name in your contact list. So overall, I'm impressed with the screen. The screen does very well. Gives me a lot of information right up front. I don't have to go searching for anything. I don't have to hit a bunch of buttons to get there. Let's take a right here. So with the display screen now on the highest setting at 100%, I could definitely see this screen in bright light, and I can see the colors. I don't know how you guys see it in terms of the camera. I don't know if the angle of the camera is hitting it or not. Angle down a little bit here. But yeah, it's not one that I cannot see. Other brands, sometimes it's very difficult to see these color displays, but this one shows up really nice. I feel kind of bad that I can't pedal this bike. I would be able to give you a better idea of what the range really would be if you pedaled it, but we're already at 28.9 miles with throttle only, and I've been throttling at almost 16 miles per hour. So a 20 amp hour battery, what was this thing, a 48 volt, 20 amp hour? 52 volt, 52 I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It's doing pretty well. I think if you were lighter in weight, because like I said, I am 255. I'm maxing this thing out almost. If it can handle me and give you decent range, that's pretty good. And then and on throttle as well. So I think no real fear about your range. A lot of the companies advertise high mileage. I don't know what this one said. Was it 80 miles it said? I don't know how companies come up with these figures. I could never get anywhere close to anything like that. But I will say this, when my wife was pedaling her bike, she has a Rad Mini Step-thru 2. She rode 42 miles and only dropped 3 out of the 5 bars on the battery. So it is possible to get these ranges that the manufacturers say, but you got to be pretty light in weight. I mean, she weighs like nothing, and you know, she's got the endurance to do it. She was still going strong. I wore out 2 batteries on another bike to get that 42 miles. But you know, you're talking someone who's a lot heavier is using a throttle the entire time and barely pedaling. You're not going to get the kind of range. But this one, yeah, like I said, I'm going to guess the mate will hit 35. That's my guess. I'll put down the final numbers when we get it. So I won't bore you for the rest of this thing. I'll say my goodbyes now, I think, and then I'll show you a graphic of what we ended up with, so that you know exactly how much mileage we actually did do, based on the battery, getting down to the nitty-gritty. You know, some of these batteries will shut off at about 7%. Others will go all the way further down. Others will shut off a little earlier, so you don't really know, and I don't want to be too far away from home when it finally goes. So yeah, I'll show you when we get there. But anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Oh, and here's another thing too. This thing just turned red at 20%. So it's telling you, you know, you got to get ready. Yeah, I better start heading back home or something. But yeah, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. I'll talk to you guys next time.